ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं सहिजनप्रहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। Srimad Bhagavatam prayers. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Shunvatam swakatha krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti shuhatsatam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya भगवते उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Just seeking all your blessings to read today's verses and discuss. So we'll read from Canto 3, Chapter 24, Text 6 through 8 today. So we'll begin with Text 6. Tasyam bahutithe kale Bhagavan madhusudanaha Kardamam viryam apanno Jagnegnir eva daruni. One more time we'll recite. Tasyam bahutithe kale Bhagavan madhusudanaha Kardamam viryam apanno Jagnegnir eva daruni. Word by word. Tasyam, in Devahuti, Bahutithe kale. After many years, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, Kardamam of Kardama, Viryam, the semen, Apannaha, entered, Jagne, he appeared, Agnihi, fire, Iva, like, Daruni, in wood. Translation. After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from the wood in a sacrifice. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is clearly stated here that the Lord is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he appeared as the son of Kardama Muni, fire is already present in wood, but by a certain process, fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all-pervading. He's everywhere, and since he may come out from everything, he appeared in his devotees' semen. Just as an ordinary living entity takes his birth by taking shelter of the semen of a certain living entity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts the shelter of the semen of his devotee and comes out as his son. This manifests his full independence to act in any way, and it does not mean that he's an ordinary living entity forced to take birth in a certain type of womb. Lord Narasimha appeared from the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace. Lord Varaha appeared from the nostril of Brahma, and Lord Kapila appeared from the semen of Kardama. But this does not mean that the nostril of Brahma or the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace or the semen of Kardama Muni is the source of the appearance of the Lord. The Lord is always the Lord. Bhagavan Madhusudanaha. He is the killer of all kinds of demons, and he always remains the Lord, even if he appears as a son of a particular devotee. The word Kardamam is significant, for it indicates that the Lord had some devotional affection or relationship in devotional service with Kardama and Devahuti. But we should not mistakenly understand that he was born just like an ordinary living entity from the semen of Kardama Muni in the womb of Devahuti. Text 7. Avadyam stada vyomni vaditrani ghana ganaha gayanti tam sma gandharva nrityanti apsaraso muda. Avadyam stada vyomni vaditrani ghana ganaha gayanti tam sma gandharva nrityanti apsaraso muda. Avadyan sounded tada at that time, vyomni in the sky, vaditrani musical instruments, ghana ghanaha the rain clouds, gayanti sang, tam to him, sma certainly, gandharvaha the Gandharvas, nrityanti danced, aspar apsaraha the apsaras, muda in joyful ecstasy. Translation: at the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, but celestial dancing girls known as apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy. Text 8. Petuhu su manaso divyaha kecharer apavarjitaha praseduscha disha sarva ambhamsi cha manansi cha. Petuhu su manaso divyaha kecharer apavarjitaha prasedusha disha sarva ambhamsi cha manansi cha. Petuhu fell, su manasaha flowers, divyaha beautiful, charehe by the demigods who fly in the sky, apavarjitaha dropped, praseduhu became satisfied, cha and dishaha directions, sarvaha all, ambhamsi waters, cha, and manamsi, minds, cha, and. Translation: at the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is learned here with that in the higher sky, there are living entities who can travel through the air without being hampered. Although we can travel in outer space, we are hampered by so many impediments, but they are not. We learn from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam that the inhabitants of the planet called Siddhaloka can travel in space from one planet to another without impediment. They showered flowers on the earth when Lord Kapila, the son of Kardama, appeared. So this section we're reading about finally Kardama Muni is appearing in the womb of Devahuti, and it is, as we read in in text 6, that it was a very unusual way. It's not like an ordinary living entity, like an ordinary living entity takes birth. So he just appeared out of semen of Kardama Muni. And then Prabhupada in the purport is giving different examples as how Lord appears in different species in different ways, but Lord always remains the Lord. He is a fully independent Lord, and he chooses how he makes appearance. So when we hear such a things, it may be bewildering because our material mind or material senses is not able to comprehend such such matters. Also, we read in the next few verses about how these demigods, Apsaras, Gandharvas, they were all very joyful because the Lord had made appearance, and they were showering flowers from all directions, from the sky. So it's same thing. When people hear such things, it is kind of inconceivable because our senses are, it's not something experiential, something we haven't experienced. So it may, people may think that, okay, is this for real? As Prabhupada has mentioned that, as a conditioned soul, we have 4 kinds of defects, that we commit mistakes, we are illusioned. Third defect is this cheating propensity. And then also our senses are imperfect. So our senses are imperfect. Therefore, these inconceivable things don't make sense to us. But we can even see in our short span of whatever, 30, 40 years, 50 years, just recently I was talking to my children about like how we used to have pagers back in the days, and then Walkmans, and my dad used to talk about like the big gramophone that they used to have. So for my children, they're like, for now, of course, they go on Google, they can search it and they can see the image, and they're like, oh. But for them, it's like they've never seen it. But because, like as a mother, I'm telling them that this is what was before you were born. All this existed. But because of the authority of a mother speaking, they believe it. So similarly, these teachings of Bhagavatam, these teaching of the Vedas is given to us by our Supreme Father, by Lord Krishna. They are the Aparashaya Shabda. They're perfect. There's nothing illusory about it. So when we read these these subject matters in Bhagavatam, for devotee, it's not, it doesn't cause bewilderment. It doesn't cause, that's the word I'm looking for. Like, they don't doubt it. It doesn't create doubt in them, because we have faith in the scriptures, because we have faith in our guru, because we have faith in Krishna's words. But somebody who doesn't believe it, or for them it's quite bewildering, and it's very difficult for them to accept such statements from these books. So those are, and also whenever Lord appears, we can see, even when Lord Chaitanya appeared, the whole atmosphere becomes so auspicious. When Lord Chaitanya appeared, there was this tumultuous, it was on an auspicious day. There was this tumultuous singing of Mahamantra. Everybody was, had gone to the Ganges to take bath, and just the whole atmosphere becomes so charged with this devotion and this spiritual energy. So similarly here, as Lord Kapila is making his appearance everywhere, the demigods, there is this huge celebratory mood that is being described in these verses. So yeah, those are just some of the points I wanted to bring out. And if anybody, we'll just open it up for any comments or discussion. I'm not very well versed in this section, so I'm not sure any questions, I'd be able to answer, but, we can always bring it up to the table, and there are so many devotees, senior devotees here, so they can help. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Haribol Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Just a comment. I came late, but then when I came, your discussion, it reflected of something that we were discussing in Sunday school yesterday. We were talking about Narottam Das Thakur, and the mystical things that seem to happen. How do we understand? And anyway, so not going to what we said, but I think the point that you made about the pages and everything was so vivid, and it brought home the point that uh, Krishna and the bhakti experiences are, we can't capture it in our pea little brain and in our experiences. So it's way beyond that. And so I was just reflecting off of that. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I also read that recently, and I also been thinking about it actually, with all the pastimes of Narottam Das Thakur, where when he had that big celebration in Keturi to install the deities, and then you hear Lord Chaitanya and all his associates came. So I've been thinking about it, that, like, even to me, even though I want to believe it, and I do believe it, but it still is like, how is that possible? But like what you said, really it's possible by the devotees' devotion. That's what I've been thinking, that it is the devotion that the impossible things become possible. So yeah, it's a really nice book. I'm so glad you're reading it in the Sunday school with the children. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So I was thinking, how does the demigods know that the Lord appears? I think most of the times, right, when the Lord appears, we hear these kind of activities, right? So I know, I mean, the arrangements are fine. I mean, because the Lord can arrange it. I mean, the Yogamaya can arrange the things. Is that because knowing the demigods, because they would not be knowing the Lord appearing, right? I was just thinking technically. So I don't know if you have any comments, anyone on the call or you, because they are like a kind of a Jiva Tattva. So how does they know? I mean, unless they get to aware of it or somebody tells them, right? So I mean, because every time when Lord appears, we hear these kind of nice things happening, right? Just thinking, I think, how does the demigods know?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just remember like Maharaj when he talks about in his lecture, he said, yeah, there was no text messaging back then. There were no phone calls, but yeah, somehow, yeah, I don't know, like we don't know the technology, right? Like
Does
he
they get
says that.
revealed? Are we saying? I mean,
He
because they
said, yeah,
cannot.
we don't know the technology, but somehow they do come to know. And yeah, I don't know exactly how or in what ways. But yeah, you're right. That's a good question to ponder. Yeah, if anybody else has any information or they heard anything in this regard.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I don't know whether I am eligible to answer or not, but it happens many times in the Puranas whenever there is something coming up, Devatas are in the above planets and they are watching and they are showering flowers, even Govardhan Leela and other things that is happening, like Rasa Krida Jaya also, they wanted to come and join. Maybe Devatas, they are elevated souls and they have more connection with the super soul so that they can follow them and they can know what is going on. That's what I'm thinking because the elevated planets and elevated souls, because they are not like ordinary Yaksha, Kimera, and Kimpurcha. Those are the higher levels, and beyond those are those devatas, and they could follow. That's what we can say, the connections uh, every time whenever God appears, they are watching and they are happy that is happening. All this in the shower flowers, we hear that from Akashavani. We can hear the voices coming up. Those are clear examples. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, super soul, I guess that's another possibility. I don't know, but maybe we can check with some, we can check. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, Prabhu, if nothing else is there, we can conclude here for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.